We're floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you badass jet pilots, rumble. Hi, welcome to the Wingman Show. My name is Drew Brown. We hope to inspire, entertain, and learn something so we can all make this world a better place for our children. I'd like to introduce to you somebody who's my friend, my wingman, my main man, and I have a wingman watching my back, Dr. Paul Thompson. Hey, Paul, what's happening?
Oh, not much. Hello, everyone. I'm Paul Thompson, and you just heard from Mr. Drew Brown, Dark Gable. He's the American dream. He's the man, the myth, the legend, the pilot's pilot, the role model's role model, and most importantly, his royal fullness. How are you doing today, Mr. Dark Gable?
I'm doing great, and I'm glad I'm full of knowledge, Paul. I'm glad I'm full of knowledge. Well, we're going to have a great show right now. Check this out. Dr. Paul, my man, it's so good to see you all the time.
Good to see you. Good to see you. How's your day yesterday? I had an exciting day.
I'm doing great. The weather's been changing around here a lot, but hey, I'm just excited about doing this show. I know you have a great wingman. I love your choices of wingmen. They're great. Do you want to tease it a little bit?
Just a little bit, just a few words. If the shoe fits, wear it. But first,
wow, that's pretty good.
I got to tell you, I got an award yesterday.
Tell me about your award.
I got it right here. I'm wearing it.
It looks like a paper patch.
Yeah, but I'll take it.
No, I'm trying to see.
Yeah, they ran out of metal. It's conservation. I conquered Treetop Trail. Yesterday, I took my grandson to the park, to the zoo, the Atlanta Zoo. I had never been there before. And it's okay. It's not the Bronx Zoo. It's kind of like a very poor Bronx Zoo, but it was pleasant. It was nice. And that was the biggest thing we did, but it's basically kind of a ropes course. You go up on these harnesses, and it's if you have a major fear of heights, you don't want to do this. You don't want to do this at all.
Is it rock climbing?
It wasn't rock climbing. He's good at that. He flies up the thing like, Spider-Man, no problem. I hadn't done this kind of thing in some years. I did okay. I didn't fall once.
Oh, congratulations. That's due to your 500 burpees a day.
It helps because it does require some arm strength. Because everybody else is like average age is like about 9 or 10. So I
no doubt.
Like 6 times.
I'm proud of you. I think that's great. You know, I didn't tell you this, but I sent you a box of food because Katrina and I we eat Factor, and it's a little bit pricey, but it is gourmet food. You put it in the microwave 2 minutes. You have salmon, you have this, you have that. You get a lot of choices. Anyway, that is starting to really show what you put in your body. All you got to do is kind of keep yourself a little bit full and you don't crave all that bad stuff. Anyway, we're eating Factor. I sent you some boxes, you get a little free thing. Anyway, I wanted to just say that's part of my little health regime.
Yeah, the Factor. Yeah, appreciate that. Thanks for the gift. It was good. We ate it up 2 days ago. Yeah, we ate it all up. Very, very, very wholesome.
Well,
it was good. They packed it really nice too.
Oh yeah, it cost enough to gosh darn it.
Yeah.
Hey, Paul, Dr. Paul, do you like yoga at all?
Yoga?
Yes.
Yeah, I've done it like a couple times. I don't do it. I've done it like once, actually. I'm lying. It's not a couple times. It's like once.
Well, Katrina and I, we do yoga like twice a week, and we do it on the Peloton app. But we put it on the big screen TV, and we do it with this girl called Chelsea Jackson. That's her name, the yoga instructor. We do yoga to jazz. We do yoga to some rap music, to gospel. It's nothing. It's the same actual physical movements, which are incredibly not just hard, but helpful in balance and everything else. But it's not the normal music, or it's not that. And I had to give a shout out to her. You're doing yoga to Billie Holiday. That's kind of a trip.
So are you pedaling on the Peloton?
No. This is on that app, that same pedaling app. You can do meditation.
Different
you can
things.
Do yoga. That's where we do the strength training with an instructor. You get your weights and you do what he does. And it makes it fun, and the time goes by.
Oh, okay, cool.
Well, I want to give you a Starlink update. And the update is nothing's happened yet, but I'm missing one piece. And I called my great neighbor, Dean. He said, Starlink shipping it out in the next week or so. So I'll keep everybody up to that. But that Starlink, Elon Musk is throwing up all those satellites. Tell me about this, Dr. Paul. I just found out that Amazon is now throwing up about 3,000 satellites. And sooner or later, they're going to have too many satellites up there. Amazon now wants to be the internet of the world. So this is competition. What do you think about that?
Well, eventually, what if you decide to get some satellites and throw them up there? I guess you can't have them in the same orbit. So I don't know if they've got different lanes, or what are they, like at 150 miles out, 200 miles out, 500 miles out, 600 miles out? And you got a lot of space junk up there. What happens if they collide? I think the Air Force manages all the space junk. I don't know how they keep it separated, but every once in a while there's like a warning that'll come, such and such is coming in, and what are you going to do?
I don't know, but those are small meteors. They're going to start having problems. It's going to be like highways. Once again, it's going to be overcrowded. Yes. Man will find a way to now screw up space, I'm sure.
Well, you've already weaponized space, because there's already the ability to bring down someone else's satellite if you don't like it. I heard that was actually going on in the 70s, kind of secretly, but not so secretly.
Oh, I'm sure there's some things now, even with war, that, God, I don't want to talk about it, but shit, since you brought it up, this Putin guy is becoming the next Hitler to me. These are they just hit a train station full of people. And it's amazing the gut feeling I have in my stomach about innocent people dying because of a man's ego. And I also heard that he's manipulating the news, and people in Russia are starting to love him. And you and I were talking about this. This American BS about black and white, Latino, Asian, whatever the hell they're talking about. They have no idea what hate is for a Ukrainian towards a Russian now. Mm-hmm. So, this is a human thing. Our colors mean zero. We just need ways and find ways to hate others. But what's happening over there, you have a hatred in these people towards innocent people. I mean, we're not talking about military. They're not losing the war. They're just bombing people. And the world is standing by. And I've said this, and this might be controversial, and I am Jewish, but how many Jews had to die before America stepped in? It was 6 million. What about 5 million? And the trip is, if you learn about history, 25 million Russians were killed by the Nazis.
Correct.
And that's why Putin uses that word Nazi.
Yeah, denazification. He uses it a lot. Yeah, I noticed that. Most people don't know that. Our history knowledge is not so great, which is a nice way of saying it stings. But I noticed that he talks about denazification a number of times. Hadn't heard that term much. But that train station attack was obviously deliberate daytime, and I saw pictures of like baby strollers that are strewn about, and a lot of blood on the ground. No people. It's a picture. Maybe we'll show it. But this is rough stuff. It's going to get rougher.
I know an active thing that I'm doing. I can pray, because I'm praying for peace. And my mother always used to say, peace on earth. Actually, we end the show with peace on earth and goodwill towards all men and women. But I mean, this is why, back in the day with the peace sign and everything in Vietnam, well, that was military killing military, and some civilians did die. But this is atrocity. This is the stuff we read about. I'm not kidding. In history books, and we went, ooh, what? You're kidding. How could that happen? It's happening today.
And now you got live on TV, HD. You play it back.
Yeah, war on television. Well, let's talk about Costco, because I have a little story that just happened. I'm not kidding either. I have 4 big Great Danes. Their names. There's Mickey and Bentley. And
Mushy?
then there's Diva and Moishi.
Moishi. Gotta say Moishi, not mushy. Moishi.
Moishi, which is a Yiddish word for Mo. And the reason his name is Moishi is because he's a black Dane with some gray and some white on him. And he's a rescue dog. And the people, I guess, who Katrina rescued him, they named him Hershey. Hershey, I don't see brown anywhere. So I renamed him Moishi because it's close to Hershey, and hopefully, well, now he knows his name. So
just harder to say.
Yeah. And I think it's really cool. I actually had an Uncle Moishi. So Costco. So I feed my dogs very expensive Costco dog food. So the other day we go into Costco because I love going there. And we do our little 2-week monthly trip, whatever. I load up 6 of these bags of dog food, get to the checkout. They say, I'm sorry, so 1 bag per visit. What?
But all the toilet paper.
There's a little sign there. What?
But all the toilet paper you want.
Yes, all the toilet paper you want. But there's a little sign there. No kidding. You wouldn't ever read it. And I was like, no, I need to see a manager. My dogs rely on this. Anyway, we try, I learned in the military, chain of command. You go assistant to manager to store manager. They were so nice and so good, and they did the best they could. We got 2 of them. And only because we used Katrina's membership for one, they were able to do that. They were so helpful. And then there was somebody in the line, Dr. Paul, that Katrina was talking to, right? So I went right up. I thought she was her friend. I was like, here's $40. Will you buy a bag? And the lady looked at us and was like, she didn't understand I was giving her money. So she was like, I'd like to buy you guys a bag of food, but I was like, no, here's the money. Anyway, it was funny. So we got 3, and I just wanted to say how good Costco's customer service was. But man, you send me, they send emails all day long about this sale, that sale. Can you send me an email that you can get 1 bag of dog food, please?
Well, after this broadcast, I got to go to Costco and get, I'm low on my sparkling water. I got to get that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've got 1 case. I keep like 3. I'm down.
I knew you had that Jewish in you. I love seltzer.
It's good. Then I put in a squeeze. I squeeze a whole lime in there, and I keep it in my bottle. It's great, and mint leaves. It's a good combination.
You're incredible.
With ice.
You're incredible. Hey, Fresh Prince got 10 years. Can't come to the academy. Nothing. Got kicked out for 10 years. What do you think?
Much ado about nothing. So what? What? I think he'll do fine.
It's amazing. You can work your whole life doing good, and you do one bad thing. It's over. Yeah, and that was in front of be remembered for.
In front of billions of people. In fact,
my God. Self-inflicted wound.
Yeah, there's a couple of UFC fighters that did a recreation of that. And they're kind of sitting down, and one slaps each other, and about people 30 times harder than he did. And they laugh.
That's going to be close to the Mike Tyson ear bite.
Yes.
How about that?
Yeah.
That's what Mike Tyson said. Did you hear about that? He sells cannabis ear bites.
Mike's bites.
Gummies.
Yeah.
And he said Will Smith needs to chill out and have a couple gummies. That was Mike Tyson's answer. Anyway, inflation. Inflation's going up like crazy. I mean, I'm really seeing it now. It's 20, 30% on certain things. I do weeding every year because on my land, there are like just fence lines. I have to weed, whatever. Anyway, the same bottle that cost $78 now costs $130. No kidding. And you know what the alternative is? Let your weeds grow.
Learn weeds.
So what happens when you have a real farm and you need 1,000 gallons of that?
Yeah. Cost you money.
Oh man, so. What do you do for inflation? There's an answer.
Get the prices to go down, or get some more money.
Well, here's one thing about inflation, and tell me if I'm wrong, Doc. Anytime prices go up, stopping inflation means they don't go up anymore. But a lot of companies, once you're getting, $6 for a box of cornflakes, we really want to go back down to $4.50. So I believe in that. But the way I like to fight inflation is make more money. And you know what we just heard? Walmart has increased their yearly truck driving salaries from $85,000 to $115,000 a year. Dr. Paul, talk to me about a career as a truck driver at Walmart with a good 401k.
Yeah, I believe that's a starting salary too, wasn't it?
Starting.
That's a starting salary. That's actually higher than a airframe and power plant mechanic, a jet mechanic. That averages like 20% less, which is strange. But yeah, that's an option. That's an option because I think they're about 80,000 truck drivers short. There's a friend of mine, truck driving's that's a hard life. Over the road truck is a hard life. Going across the country living now. You traveled a lot. I traveled a lot. We stayed in a lot of pretty nice hotels. Some were 5-star and suites, and you lived in the rich and famous. I actually was in the little aside in the they call it the Barack Obama suite in Delhi, India. That's not what it was called, but there are upper levels where there's presidential and the vice presidential and this. And one day we flew in there, and they were kind of full up on rooms. And they said, we're out of rooms, but we've got these suites available. Would you like a suite? I said, sure. I pulled out the company. I didn't think I threw out the company credit card, just threw it on the table. Yeah, I don't care. And it wasn't as big as my house, but it's about 2/3 the size. And we all had them. Each of us had them. And I had the Barack Obama suite. I think they had a Vladimir Putin suite and a Bill Clinton suite. They just gave them names. They didn't have numbers on them, and it was real nice. I think it was like $3,000 a day or $6,000 a day or something.
Did the Putin suite have bodies in the closet?
The first officer had it. I didn't go in his room, so I don't think so. But I was there one night when Putin was there. We were in the same hotel, and it's near the Diplomatic Row, and I never saw him, but they had red carpets all throughout the lobby of the hotel, and lots of KGB people, male and female. They were easy to pick out. And doing that, that restaurant called Bukhara? It's called Bukhara.
Yes, it's top 4 in the world. Okay,
it's great.
I've been in one of those suites that you're talking about in that hotel.
Oh, yeah, you are.
You're talking about top of the line living.
Yeah, you probably get that all the time because they know who you are. I just got it as a mistake. But he couldn't go that. They closed the Bukhara restaurant down for him and his entourage. They just said, nobody's coming. So, okay, fine. I went out and ate in my usual place, which is like a 2-minute drive, probably about as good, actually.
Oh, yeah, we loved it.
But we survived. No radioactive tea.
But do you remember when you went in that hotel, they had those things where they looked under the car for the bombs?
They had mirrors, yeah.
They opened up the security was incredible because as soon as you walked outside those gates, it was not funny out there. And it was very, very sketchy kind of neighborhood. Yeah. And the poverty in India was incredible. And the worst part was there was such a difference between the rich and the poor. Because when you're saying poor, please don't think you're American poor.
Right. And if you go to Mumbai, it's like 5 times worse.
Yeah,
my opinion.
Well, anyway, also there's another. We read that video game players, they're hiring them now at $20 an hour. You could also do that.
So if you were like a Walmart trucker and you got your time off, you could play video games in the cab of the truck.
That's true. But with this truck driving, last thing is that now they're all regulated, so you can't speed. The next thing is you can't, and the reason some of those lives were so hard is that all truck drivers try to make extra money. So they try to drive as long and far as they could. Well, now there's only a certain amount of time and those trucks turn off. Yeah. You can't go any further until the time comes back. Anyway, let me ask you this. Tiger Woods just played in the Masters. And this is an incredible comeback physically from if what they're saying here is rods in his legs and screws. For what he did for 14 months to play in a golf tournament is freaking incredible. But I had this feeling, and he's playing pretty good. Right now, I think he's behind a couple of strokes or whatever. But I feel like when Ali was fighting in the end, I used to hate to watch him fight because he used to get hit. And the one thing that the champ used to I loved about him, he didn't get hit. You never had to feel bad. He didn't get hit for a long time. Yeah. And when he started getting hit, it started to hurt. I know it hurt my dad. I know it hurt him terribly. But anyway, it hurt me too. So that's how I was feeling. Like, I really want him to do so good. What do you think about that comeback?
Well, it's amazing. Amazing to see he's alive, number one. Amazing he still has his leg, number two, how bad it was. And it's also a tribute to the medical professionals and the technologists that had the technology to basically rebuild his leg. Apparently his ankle was just crushed and smashed to smithereens. So there's a certain engineering architecture in his body. He's got a lot of metal. I wonder if he goes through metal detectors, probably everything goes off. He may not even use metal. I may even use different polymers and different plastics that aren't hazardous to the body. But there's a lot of, he's walking around with a lot of technology inside of him to make that even possible. Yeah.
And realize he has a team of people that take care of him from that time until now. I mean, he goes to therapy every single day. There's no days off. There's no, I'm doing this on Tuesday. I think I'll be late.
Right.
This is for real. This is all the time. And that's, my son, the spine surgeon, always told me that these athletic surgeons are only good because their patients are good. If you operate on somebody's knee who's 400 pounds, knee's not going to do that good. It's just not. And but if you operate on that same knee, same thing, same procedure, and this guy works out every day exactly like you want him to, you're good. Right. Well, Elon Musk is not the only billionaire around here. Did you know, first of all, you talk about rich. He woke up one morning and bought the largest share of Twitter. I think it's 9-point-something%, almost 10% of Twitter. And so now he's the largest stockholder because he had an argument with Twitter. And that's the way to beat him. Now he's put himself on the board. So he's on the board of Twitter, which is kind of just incredible. And the little thing on Need to Know said, because the stock went up $25 as soon as he announced it. And they said, next time, could you let us know? And that's what insider trading is. So anyway. Yeah. But there are more billionaires that just came out, and there are some who dropped out. Yeah. Guess what billionaires, Dr. Paul?
Well, if you're a Russian billionaire, you might not be one.
Russian oligarchs have dropped like 34 of them or something off the list.
Yeah.
Let's see. What other oligarchs you think?
Let's see. Oligarchy, not the U.S., China.
Yep. Chinese. Both of them went down. But guess who came up? Rihanna is a billionaire now.
That's right.
Rihanna's a billionaire. Jay-Z's a billionaire. Kanye's a billionaire.
Dr. Dre.
Dr. Dre is a billionaire. Yes. This is incredible. This is the Billionaires Boys and Girls Club. And
Michael Jordan has been.
Michael Jordan and Oprah Winfrey. I'm sorry.
And a guy named Robert Smith. We don't talk about him. Robert Smith. He's the one who paid the tuition. Yeah.
Do you see that color is not stopping a lot of people if they work hard? And the one thing I found out, Dr. Paul, is that you can't substitute hard work. I'm sorry I found that out so late, but that's what made us both successful. Right. It took a little bit more urging to me, but I would have been much better of a basketball player. Like, I don't want to hear you want to be a basketball player unless you're shooting 300-400 shots a day, unless you're running 2-3 miles a day, unless you're eating right. You're not eating donuts. You're not drinking sodas. Don't tell me you want to do something unless you really want to work at it and do it, because all the ones who have made it, that's how they live.
That's true. That's true. And the thing is that the people we mentioned, most of them, they're all in some form of entertainment for the most part, with the exception of the Robert Smith. He was basically a private equity guy. Anyway, I never heard about him, but he's probably rich. I think he's actually richer than all the people we mentioned. but you don't hear about him at all. He's
There's
younger
actually a
than
Nigerian African who is the
Dan
richest
Goatee.
black man because he owns 85% of all the cement in Africa.
Dan Goatee. Dan Goatee. I have a friend that's met him, actually.
But, you know, these rich people, you know, they made their startup money in their entertainment. But in order to continue to make money, wealthy people make money on their money.
Correct.
And that's the whole investment idea. That's the whole, you put 10,000 in, you get 100,000 out. Well, if you keep doing it, you could start off with $10 and get 100 out. You can buy stock at $50. You know, you can buy a $3,000. You can buy $50 worth of it now.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to buy the whole share anymore.
Yeah, you know, I talked to a financial advisor about a week ago, a little over a week ago, when we was talking about some things, and he just threw something out. And he gave me a list of a bunch of dividend-paying stocks that have been paying for the last 20, 30, 40 years consistently. He said, if you just put some money in this thing and just go away and leave it alone for a few decades, you'd be surprised what you wake up with.
They said that if you put $2,000 a year away when you're 17 something, there's a magic number.
Yeah.
But if you stopped when you were 26, when you got 65, it'd be $1 million.
Correct.
It was some small amount of money. Oh, and all our new listeners out there, thank you so much for listening, and our old listeners, of course. We love that you're here. Please don't forget to put a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. That really helps the Wingman Show, Dr. Paul and I. You can go to wingmanshow.com, leave your email address. But we really would appreciate that, everybody. Don't you agree, Doc?
I do. And if you go on Spotify, if you give us a 5-star rating, that would be nice. Hope
only if we're worth it.
If we're worth it.
Only if we're worth it. How about March Madness? We got Kansas who won. We got the women, South Carolina, who won. But what about this stat? Coach K, who's won 1,000 games more. I mean, what a career this man has had. Do you realize his first loss ever was to North Carolina, their arch enemy, and his last loss ever was to North Carolina? What about that stat? And I didn't come up with that.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I watched, I didn't watch his first game. I watched the ACC championship. Well, no, it wasn't championship. They played at Duke and played North Carolina. It was his last game, home game there. They lost, and he kind of lambasted the team. Then they won some games and got to the Final Four and lost again. But, shout out to Hubert Davis, who was the first-year coach of North Carolina. It was his first year. Remember he used to play for the Knicks?
Yes.
Hubert Davis,
yeah.
Congratulations to him.
Do you remember I was watching the Knicks game talking to you, and they were up 20, and I said, I really don't want, in the third quarter, they lost.
I know. I didn't tell you because you said you record. I didn't say anything. I kept my mouth shut. They lost by 20 or something.
Well, I have some bad news for you.
What's that?
I know you had tickets to Coachella. I'm sure you're one of the big Coachella people. Anyway,
put the around here somewhere.
Kanye has canceled. Yes, he doesn't want to do it. And you know, The Weeknd, the guy, he had bandages on his face. That was his shtick at one point. Anyway, he did the Super Bowl. Anyway, Kanye was making $8.5 million for this concert. And so they asked The Weeknd to do it. And he said, I'm not doing it unless you pay me Kanye money.
So he's not doing. I'll be honest. I didn't know who The Weeknd was. I guess it was a Super Bowl halftime show last year. It's The Weeknd, and I'm like, okay, it's Sunday. Of course, it's The Weeknd. That's how much I knew.
Yeah, you're not. You know what stacks are, though.
I do know what stacks are. That's
all you need to know. And the rap at this Super Bowl concert, that was the bomb. That was a great.
That was good. I enjoyed it. That
was a great halftime. Snoop has a line that I love. He says, "I'm the only rapper that your grandmother knows," and that's true. Snoop Dogg.
I mean, because they're older. I mean, he's got an AARP card. I think he's
100%. Hey, Dr. Paul, can you leave us off with a great Wingman story?
Oh, the Wingman. I told you, if the shoe fits, wear it. This week's Wingman is Mr. Dwayne Edwards. Dwayne Edwards. Never heard of him before, but he used to be the director of marketing. He was director of shoe design at Jordan brand for Michael Jordan. the Jordan sneakers, which is a big part of his billion-dollar empire. And he also worked on design for Carmelo Anthony sneakers. Carmelo Anthony, also another famous NBA player who will go into the Hall of Fame. But what he's done, he's reopening an HBCU that was closed. It was the only HBCU in the state of Michigan. It was called Lewis College of Business. And his company is called Pensole. So now the whole thing's going to be called the Pensole Lewis College of Business. And he's coming to Detroit to open this design school. And what this design school is, they're designing sneakers. They're going to make them out of leather. And it's a process that hadn't been done in a long time. It was pioneered by a gentleman named Ernst Matzlinger, who developed a process from producing 50 pairs of shoes a day to 700. This was he had 5 patents between 1883 and 1895, I think. But no one ever really heard about him because he was black, or his mother was black. I think he's from Suriname, and no one knows. But he had these patents, and we'll put it on there. But they actually made a stamp for him, this John Ernst Matzlinger. But anyway, in his honor, this Dwayne Edwards is revitalizing this designer factory in Detroit. It's not really the factory, it's really the school. It's really a school for designers. And these designers are going to have their shoes made actually in New Hampshire. Because people don't realize most of the shoe manufacturing in the U.S. used to be done in New England, in the whole New Hampshire area. Because if you go up there now, all those places are closed, old, big brick factories. Those industries have gone. So he's trying to renew it again and giving folks in Detroit a chance. I think the school actually opens up next month. Opens up May.
Oh, great.
2022. And the first group of people are going to be tuition free. There's money that's provided by, the Gilbert Foundation. Dan Gilbert, he owns the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yes.
People may know him for a number of reasons. There was a big public spat between him and LeBron James some years ago that was kind of famous.
Well, this sneakerhead thing, I don't know if you're aware, but sneakers are a big industry now, and they actually sell like stocks. My son is a sneakerhead. I mean, he has some very valuable sneakers, very valuable sneakers. Well, I have a PSA, Dr. Paul.
Oh,
you
yes.
Got to do one.
I forgot. What is it?
This is a Wingman PSA. Be happy, have fun, and be nice. The goal is a long, happy, and healthy life. The key to world peace is being nice. Be happy, have fun, and be nice. This has been a Wingman PSA.
Thank you for that.
I thought we needed that because of the war issue and everything. Dr. Paul, you're a great dude, my man.
And you are too.
I pray for peace.
I do too.
Thank you once again, Dr. Paul Thompson, my friend. Thank you for your love, your time, and that's something that we won't ever get back. I want to thank all the listeners, too. Thank you so much for doing the show, Dr. Paul. We're jamming.
Well, thank you, Mr. Drew, for inviting me on. Always good to talk to you. And ladies and gentlemen, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast or any of the podcasts. If you're looking at YouTube, they say smash the like button. Don't smash it. Just press it gently and use as a link to all your friends. You can also look at us on our website, wingmenshow.com, WINGMEN show, SHOW.com, altogether, wingmenshow.com. And we hope to see you in the future. Thanks again, Mr. Drew.
Oh, you're welcome. And we're still floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you badass jet pilots, rumble. May there be peace on earth, and goodwill towards all men and women.